Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. I think it's done. But either way, that's how you spell it. So if you want to find more stuff by this artist, that's how you spell it. Get it a little closer for you in case you can't see it. Supportive oracle cards are the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. Illustrated by Gretchen. That's how you spell her last name. So if you want to find anything by that artist or this person or these cards, that's what you need to do that. Taurus. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Alright, let's get the oracle cards out here. One here and one here. I like this. It's a good day to be a Taurus. It's a good day to be a Taurus. Or if you're connecting with this energy, no matter where it is, like, because if you're anything like me, you're like, you look through other people's stuff and you're like, I feel like clicking Capricorn today, or I'll click Gemini, I'll click Libra. I just click what I want. And no matter how you came to this video, if it's going to hit with you, good video, good one to click. It's starting off really good, and I don't feel like it's gonna waver. I really don't. You're starting off with the Ace of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles are great for Taurans. Taurans are Earth, Pentacles are Earth. This is a matching energy. This seems like this starts off exactly the way you think it should. You get right into it. You start right off busy. You start right off, you get your hands dirty, you get right into it. You're not like, how do I put this? Like, you're not holding back and let's see how it works out. You're like full on right into it. Like, it reminds me of somebody who's an earth sign that just recently started a new job. Like, they know what to do, and I feel like this is another thing with this. You know what to do, and it may be a whole new job, but you know what to do. You dig right in, you get it done, you start doing what you need to do. Fits exactly what you need. Things work out exactly how you expect them to within reason. Like, there's going to be variables, but you're realistic. You're like, well, yeah, there's going to be variables. It's called life. Life has them. Anything that's a little different than expected, you're like, yeah, but, I wasn't expecting perfection here. I knew there'd be some, like, learning curve going on here. No problem. No worries. All good. Very happy. Very, very happy. These are excellent cards for a Taurus. Excellent. I like how this is starting off. So it's starting off on the right foot. Starting really good. Now, your energy has a certain level of respect, certain demeanor. You're coming into this like, yep, this is how it should be. Yep, this is good. Yes, I'm happy. I'm all in. So you're holding this emotional line is how I'd like to say it. Excuse me. Because I feel like other people are kind of shying back a little bit. But those people who are shying back a little bit, let them. I don't even know if you've noticed it. Like, if this is in the past, I'm not even sure you would have noticed it. But I'm feeling certain energies kind of like they pulled back. They recoiled a little bit. Like, oh, okay. But this is why I think it's okay. There's these three cards. You got Balance is one of them. Where's that one? Right here, Balance. Which, if you look at the people at the bottom, they don't look so happy. I just find that interesting for Balance. The next one I have is Vanity, which can go left or right, depending on what's going on. You'll see. Because I'm definitely one of those people that just reads the energy off the card. And then you got Insecurity, which that little devil is he makes me laugh. It makes me feel like somebody's a little bit out of line at times. It feels like somebody's just out of line. It makes me feel like, when you have that friend that just says those jokes or those comments and they make you cringe on the inside, like, maybe it's not that bad, but I really don't like that. And it's kind of like, I feel this when somebody makes fun of, like, I have red hair. Well, I used to have red hair in my goatee. But, like, somebody will make a comment about somebody with red hair, like those ginger comments, and I'm just like, for some reason it's kind of like, I guess it's not that bad, but I don't like it. At the same time, I'm just like, I'm not okay with it, but... And some people may think that's really nitpicky, but I'm just kind of like, when you start messing with somebody based on a characteristic they were born with, no matter what that characteristic is, it's just kind of like, I feel like that's a gateway thing. Like, oh, I'm getting away with this. People don't have a problem with that. And then they kind of build into worse behaviors, like, oh, you were okay with that joke, and that was like culturally related. Now let's go on to the next one. And I feel like that's the energy I'm feeling with this card. Like, that's the type of energy, kind of like, they're a little questionable. They might see how far they can get with bad behavior, and seeing how far other people will accept it and getting away with certain things. Balance with the vanity is kind of like, the vanity I notice comes over with the balance, not so much with this insecurity. I feel like this is a certain personality. Like, that would explain that personality too. It's like an insecurity thing, having to single other people out based on characteristics. Trying to make somebody else feel less so they can feel more. The balance with the vanity is kind of like, certain people think that they know how things should be. Like, I've been here this amount of time. Oh, this could be a slippery slope. I've been here this amount of time, so I deserve that. Or I've done my dues. I've paid my dues. And I might be in the minority on this thought, but like, I've been at jobs where people they've been there for like a good 10 years. But they're really not the best at the job they do. Yet they're expecting to move up into a management position. And then somebody else comes in who understands situations, handles people a lot better. They're there for like a year, but they're good at the job, and they can serve people better, and they get moved ahead, and then they get really upset about that. And I'm sorry, but if it's just not something you're doing well at, just because you've spent a long time there, doesn't mean you should move ahead. If you're good at it, then you should move ahead. If you're good for the people around you, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel like people don't always agree with me on that viewpoint, but that's what I'm feeling. Like, there might be somebody here thinking that you click in, you know what you're doing, but to them, you're new in this situation, and they're like, they may be a little bit uncomfortable because you're good at what you do, and it makes them feel insecure, kind of like, oh, here's another one that's gonna pass me right by in the ranks. And maybe you do this situation, whatever it is, better than they do. There might be that may be another reason why they're holding back. So these energies are the ones I feel holding back from you. I don't feel bad about it, because what I'm also getting is like, you're not having a conflict with these people. I'm getting the Four of Wands. And it's interesting saying that in a Taurus video, because Taurus, you stay the course, you put in your time, and you put in the effort, you get out your reward. But I feel like I know Taurus is like this, and they're kind of like, they have the same attitude, unless I'm using it the wrong way. If you spend 10 years at something and you just put in halfway effort, then you get halfway out. Like, you can't expect to put in like a quasi effort and get the maximum reward. If you're gonna be there and do your best and really work for it and try to make it happen, then okay. But if somebody else is gonna show up and put in more effort and do more for the situation, then they should get out what they put into it. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. Because I feel like you kind of match this, kind of like, yeah, if you put in 10 years, that should be rewarded. That's something to be noted. But if you're just kind of like showing up every day and you think just because you showed up, you're owed something, it takes more than just showing up. You got to put in the work. I think, now maybe that made better sense because that felt right to me. Because there's a couple, I know a few people that are earth signs for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, I don't know. But I feel like I've heard that from other people. They're like, you can't just show up. You gotta put in the effort. And if you put in the effort when you show up, okay, then you should get ahead. It also doesn't guarantee an outcome. I'm getting like, you put in the effort doesn't mean you're going to get the goal you want, but you should get something out of it that makes sense. The reason I'm getting the Four of Wands here and why I'm saying all that when I'm holding this up is because you can relate to this information. You can relate to these viewpoints to a point. This fun, like this one we'll do first. This funny attitude, but it's kind of like a little bit cheeky. I feel like politically correct isn't maybe your thing, but there's a difference between politically correct and like, being a little bit of a scumball. There's a difference. Like, you don't have to be politically correct, and I don't feel like you're holding anybody to that. But at the same time, if you're gonna be kind of like a little bit of a scumball, like I'm not into that either. So you're kind of like, all right, you having a little bit of a quirky attitude, a little bit of a weird sense of humor. I'm okay with that. It's just how far you take it and who you're like, what you're doing. You know what I mean? This is a weird energy. I feel like you're gonna get used to it, but you're also gonna be the one who maybe kind of like, they say something a little off color and you may just kind of not react to it. And that might be how you get your point across. Like, if somebody says an inappropriate comment or joke and it's not technically like that bad, but it's still, you're not okay with it, you just will flat out not react. And that will make a point. You'll make your point that way, like, I'm not okay with that. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm not going to laugh. This is a weird energy, because there's a lot of people like this in the world, I swear. They push the envelope, or, like, I see a lot of people, like, they have certain characteristics, like me making fun of white guys. I feel like that's also a negative thing to do, because I feel like that perpetuates something. I don't know why we're going down that road. Like, I don't know any white guy jokes, just to be funny, just to be odd, but, I just feel like it's just one of those weird energies, kind of like, there's certain contexts it's okay, in other contexts it's not. You'll get used to this. I feel like you'll find a way to deal with this energy. It's just a weird, it's a weird energy. This other one, who, I feel like this is a self-entitled energy. They feel like they know what they deserve. Yet it's like when I'm feeling balanced, like they feel like they know how it should balance. Yeah, it's happening a different way, and maybe it's actually balancing fairly. They just don't like it. I feel like you're going to understand this person to a point, and I don't feel like you're going to butt heads with this person. I know it's a general read, but for most of you, I feel like you'll understand where they're coming from. You may not totally agree with the viewpoint here, but you can navigate it, is what I'm getting. Wow. I'm not even halfway through yet, and I'm already at 12 minutes. Okay. Let's see where this is going. Again, your energy's good. As things keep going forward, whatever this situation is, you are very much like, all right, you got to give a little to get a little. You're not looking to, I don't know, you're working with what you got with you. You're working with what you got. Again, like when I said this one, you may not be calling this person out, but you're not laughing at things that you don't think are funny. With this other one, you may be agreeing with what you agree with, but you might be like, I agree to that to a point. Like, you're trying to sympathize with them, but you're being realistic at the same time. I feel like you're kind of like, you're not making a big deal, but you're kind of making it known where you stand. You're trying to mesh in with the whole situation. I feel like because you're authentic, they're not expecting to like you. I don't know why, but like in the beginning, that's one of the reasons they're recoiling. They're not expecting to like you. But the way you really are, when they really see who you are, they do like you. The wheel turns, the prince, is it prince or princess? Princess of Wands comes in. I feel like people, they like you. They're not expecting to. For some reason, I just feel like at first blush, they're not thinking they're going to like you. But they do, and you're proving why. You're a very good person to be around this situation. You balance things out. I actually feel like for those of you that come into something that's very closely related to this, if this is really hitting, like these two energies might not actually get along, which is really ironic to me. Like these two different energies might not get along that well. And you're kind of like a buffer between it. Judgment goes in your favor with this situation. Literally, we're halfway through. It's killing me. It's really good. It keeps going good. But I'm getting like you got judgment in your favor. You seem to be locking into this situation. You're very valid. You're very on point. If you came into this, see, I don't feel you having a hard time at all, even in the beginning. Coming into this, other people having a hard time with you or having adversity towards you, they weren't really expressing it directly, and I feel like it worked itself out. Your personality worked itself out. They moved on from it. They got over it. It's weird that you hit this good point, and then this is the only part that's not... It's not bad, but it's like... I wouldn't say it was even a hiccup. There's this Hanged Man energy in the environment, and you got the Two of Swords. I feel like somehow the problems of the past come into the future, not in the sense of like a repeat scenario, but like it's almost like reading a history book. It's like, okay, you're starting to read or find out what's happened in the past and what the people you've dealt with are like. And I feel like it's just like their past is coming back to haunt them. In some respect, it feels more informational, especially when you get swords. Swords are communication. The Hanged Man is telling me not much is happening, but I almost feel like people are embarrassed to like really own up to things that they've done in the past and maybe things they've said in the past. There's this weird moment where you're like, you find out what's been going on. You seem to be finding out what's been going on and maybe things that were said that weren't fair or weren't nice. I'm getting the Two of Swords in the sense of like you're hearing it, but you're not acting on it. You're not even sure what to do with it. It's good to know, but you're just kind of like, it's almost like overhearing a conversation and people knowing you have, and nobody wants to say anything. It's almost like, you know what I mean? People are eating lunch at this one table and you come over to this other one and you just sit down because you're just going to eat. You're eating lunch. It's what the cafeteria is for. And then you hear a couple people saying some things and you can't help but overhear this. You hear your name said and you're just like, is somebody talking to me? So since you hear your name being said, you're like listening, like, is somebody trying to get my attention? And then you hear something that you're like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that happened before. And then it's kind of obvious that you hear it, but you don't react to it and nobody wants you to. It's one of those moments. It's something similar to that. Because right after the Hanged Man, the guilt comes out in the environment. Kind of like somebody is like feeling bad about something that they did or said in the past. It feels informational though. I don't feel like something's actually happening at that moment. It's something that already happened. It's past information. It's coming forward. It's kind of like clearing the air in a weird way. Because like you know what happened. They know you know what happened, but you're not really conversing about it, and there's a guilt there with them. Like they feel bad about it, and I'm kind of feeling like that's not a bad thing for them to feel guilt. Not the biggest fan of guilt usually, but like if you do something purposely wrong and then you get called out for it, maybe you should feel guilty about it for the people that applies to. You know what I mean? Because that should help curtail that behavior going forward. I'm just, we're going to let that go. You make out on this situation. This is again where I feel like you're still doing good. You got literally the abundance card popping out here. People know that you're aware of what happened. They also know that you're choosing not to make an issue of it. You're choosing to not. You're letting it just go water under the bridge. But they're not completely dumb. They know that you heard it. And they're like, they want to make it up to you. I feel people are going out of their way to make things good for you, to do things for your benefit. Because they just they want to prove that maybe something they did in the past is not how they feel now or not how they act now. So they're going out of their way to make a difference. They want to make sure that you're okay with them and that you don't think that that's what they're doing or that's how they're acting currently. The way this ends is perfect. Perfect, in my opinion. You've got the Queen of Cups. Another thing with the Queen of Cups is not, like, you don't say anything you don't want to. If you want to share your feelings, then you will. If you don't, then you don't. The Queen of Cups can be a very secretive person, yes, but usually with purpose. She won't say anything for a reason. I'm not going to say something just to cause problems, or if I don't want people to know what I'm thinking, then I won't tell them. King of Cups between you and the other side. Things are very solid, very stable, very respectful from what I can feel. And then is it the Queen? Yep, the Queen of Pentacles in the environment. You can depend on this going forward. People are respectful. People are doing what they should. Any problems you were worried about having, I don't think you're going to have. I feel like you're staying silent, you're watching to the side, you're paying attention, but I feel like you're acting very positively towards this energy. The fact that you know, and they know you know, but you're not calling anything out because it doesn't seem like it's necessary, it just makes whoever you're dealing with want to honor you all that much more. It's kind of like you're giving them a free pass and they know it, and they want to honor that, and they want to make sure that they keep that, so they're just doing what they need to do to keep you happy, to show you that they value you. It's not like they're just kind of brown-nosing. It's not like that. It's like they're trying to show you that this is who they really are. They're trying to show you that they're very loyal to you. They're trying to show you that they're worth the time, and that anything negative you heard in the past, they have moments, but that's not truly who they are. They just have moments once in a while. You're completely fine. you're completely fine, and you're keeping it to yourself. You're like, I'm not going to make issues where I don't need to make issues. We're doing well, things are going well, I'm going to let it slide. And it goes to your benefit. See, the whole thing went your way. All right, I think we're good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.